Witches.
Hi, hello, welcome back. We are starting a new pantheon today.
Yeah, we are. I'm actually
We
really
are.
excited.
Yeah. We were actually at dinner together on the beach when we decided we were going to do Hawaiian.
Yeah, we did. Or yeah,
The
we
Hawaiian
were.
culture
I
next.
don't know. Anyway.
I think they're both correct, but I think grammatically correct is yeah, we were.
So we just kind of dived right in. I, of course, if you have been listening to us for very long, know that I have books for everything. So I ordered a book called Hawaiian Mythology, which actually, through my research today, I found this book online. So I'm a little shitty that I bought it. Like, it's online for free, basically. But it's okay because I don't know, I like having books. So,
add it to your library, add it to your status.
Exactly. So we're gonna just dive right in, and I'm gonna tell you the Hawaiians and their mythology is a little different than other pantheons because half the time their gods or goddesses are based on actual human people. Not all of them, but like some of them. So I think some of their mythology also, because a lot of it was like verbally handed down, kind of got mixed in with Christianity. Because in like the 1800s, that's around the time that the settlers made it to Hawaii, the later 1800s. And basically all of the Hawaiian people were like, yeah, Christianity makes sense. And they just kind of jumped on that bandwagon. I'm sure that that's not exactly how it happened. That's kind of how the book made it seem. But it kind of makes sense based on their mythology. So they believed in a time before humans, when there were only spirits in the world, and the land didn't exist at first. Like, it was just a big ocean. And then the gods thrust the islands up out of the sea. And those gods were the Ku and the Hina. Now, in reading about the Ku and Hina, it can get a little fuzzy because those are not just two people. They are basically the male, like, deities and the female deities, kind of. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's kind of the
So
start
are
of it.
the what? So are the males?
So Ku is the males.
Okay.
And Hina is the females.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a little more into that, but it's very complicated, and I was super confused at first when I started researching this. So the island of Lanai was the God's Landing, and that is where Cain and Kanaloa arrived later, but not Lono, which Emily's going to talk about Lono in a little bit. Some claim that Lono started by coming to Maui, and others don't really say how he came to be. But at the same time of Lono coming to Maui, there is a chief coming. Okay, I'm going to apologize now. Some of these names are extremely long, and while I looked up pronunciations and did my best, I'm going to say them slow because they're long. So, Kamehameha.
This ain't Dragon Ball Z.
That's the guy's name.
Dragon Ball Z.
Was like a general.
We about to do a powerful power up now.
He's like a general or a chief and he brings his men to Kauna Kakaye before the invasion of Oahu. So he goes to Lanai, which is the God's Landing, to celebrate Makahiki, which is the New Year festival. And he said, we come to commemorate the spot where our ancestors first set foot on the Hawaiian soil. So a lot of the mythology considers these gods to be their ancestors. And then we get into the Ku. So Ku is the male or husband gods. Can also be referred to as Kane. And it means rising upright. So when the sun is rising, that is Ku. And if you're going to pray to Ku, you're going to want to do that in the morning and to the east. You're going to say your prayers to the east. Ku is also like Adam. He's Adam from Christianity. Okay. So like he's the first parent or the first father, and he's all of the people after him come from him. He presides over all male spirits. He's worshipped to produce good crops, good fishing, long life, and family and national prosperity for all of the people. However, there are also a lot of different names attributed to him that some people say are separate gods or spirits, and some people are like, no, that's just a manifestation of Ku to begin with. And most of them start with the word, with his name, Ku. So like the gods of the forest and of rain are Kumoku
Man, you went into that so confidently.
Kumoku Hali'i is Ku spreading over the land. Kupulupulu is Ku of the undergrowth. Ku Alono Wow is Ku of the deep forest. Ku Holo Holo Pali is Ku sliding down steeps, and there's like a shit ton more of the forest, and I'm not going to say all of them, but there are a lot of them. Basically, they all start with Ku. God of husbandry. So Ku Ka'o'o is Ku of the digging stick. These basically farming. Ku Keolowalu is the Ku of wet farming. The god of fishing is Ku Ulakai, or Ku of the abundance of the sea. A lot of the times, if you just search Ku Hawaiian mythology, you're going to get Ku was the god of war. Yes, but it was one of his variations. So Kunui Akea is Ku the supreme one. Ku Kaili Moko is Ku snatcher of land. And then this is my favorite one. Like, just they all have the little thing of like what it means. So the god of sorcery is Kuaha Ilo, which translates to Ku of the maggot dropping mouth. I don't know why that makes me chuckle, but
I love that.
It does. And like those are just like a small amount of all of the gods that Ku or that's only a small part of the Ku gods. Like there's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders if the reason that some sources say that Ku is all of these people and some sources say that these are a bunch of different male deities is because they did eventually start to like integrate their beliefs with Christianity. So like did Ku become God? And it's like an all-encompassing thing? I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
But then we have Hina, who is basically the opposite. It's female or wife, which is Wahine. It means leaning down, which goes with the sun setting. Afternoon and evening belong to Hina, prayers said to the west. She is the expression of female fecundity and the power of growth and reproduction. I had to look that up because I was like, the fuck is fecundity? Basically, it means the ability to have a lot of children. So not just being fertile, but having like a bunch of offspring.
Oh, okay.
She's over the female spirits, and some goddesses identified with Hina are Hina Ulo Ohia, or Ohia, which is woman of the Ohia growth, which is a type of tree, if I'm understanding correctly, or like a type of palm grass or something. It's a plant. I know that because it has red leaves. They talk about that a lot. And then there is Hina Pukui'ia, which is the woman from whom fishes are born. And typically, the Hina goddesses are just the female counterpart of, not just, but they're the female counterpart of the Ku version. They're the wives of the fishing and upland cultivation farming gods. They are the wives of Ku'ulakai and Ku'ulauka, and they're the sisters of the original three who built the canoe, which I couldn't find their names, so
The
I don't know.
Wayfinders?
They're like the three that, well, maybe they built the original canoes. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like the one from like Moana?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the Hina are the female deities.
There's a fucking ice cream truck outside my house.
Odin gets really excited when the Kona ice truck drives by now, because one time I took him out there and got him just like a cup of ice, and he's been super excited about it every time he hears it now.
Mom!
Yeah, he's like, yes. Okay, anyway, Ku and Hina are technically like a group. The Ku are a group of gods. And they're like the ancestral gods of heaven and earth. So they have general control over the fruitfulness of the earth, the fruitfulness of the sea, all of the different things. But the Ku and the Hina together include the whole earth and the heavens from east to west. So like Ku is half and Hina's half, and you don't have the whole earth without both. They also symbolize like the different generations. Like Ku being those are who are to come still, and Hina being those who are already born. And much like I said earlier, Ku and Hina kind of have had an influence on, I say modern fiction, but like fiction stories told in this culture, where the hero or heroine is likely to be represented as a child of Ku or a child of Hina, much like in a lot of, not a lot, but I've read stories where they'll be like a daughter of Eve or a son of Adam. So they kind of use the same thing there. I wrote down a few stories and myths from the book. So one that I thought was interesting, there is literally a god and goddess of the hula dance. So Kupulupulu is also been associated with the male called Laka, which is an ancestor of the Menehune people. So because of that, they kind of like, I don't know, conflate them into the same person, who is Ku Kaohaya Laka, which is god of the hula dance. And they say that these two people have been confluted together because when the people of the Kau district ever heard for the first time the kaiki drum and the flute, uh, Laka's ship was passing, or not ship, his canoe was passing their islands on one of his visits from the south, and so they thought it was the god Kupulupulu. So yeah, they have put them together. This god is also worshipped by canoe builders because they use the tree Ohia Lahua to carve out the canoes. And so they have like, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. The hula is a part of their like ritual like dancing. It's not just a fun dance, it's like a ritualistic thing. Kind of like when Native Americans powwow, it's the same, not the same thing, but it's a similar. Yeah. Idea. So they actually usually typically do the hula dance around an altar. And their altar is not complete unless there is a branch of red lahue blossoms from the ohia tree. Yeah. And then they also say that that tree is looked on as the body of the forefather Laka. And it only bears 2 blossoms at a time. And if the branch is a like oh my gosh, prophetic thing is if the branch on that tree is broken, then blood will flow.
Ew.
Yeah. Another story. Okay. Ku
Get it, girl. You got this.
Ku Ka'ohia Akalalaka and his sister Ka'ua Kuahiwa. They come from Kahiki to Hawaii to live. Ku is with his wife Ke'a'au, and Ka'ua, which is the sister, with her husband. The sister brings vegetables from her garden to her brother at the sea, because a lot of the times in Hawaii at this time they would have like every family would have a parcel of land at the sea's edge and a parcel of land like up in the mountains or foresty area where they can grow crops. So the sister's living up in the foresty area and others living down by the ocean. So she brings him vegetables, but the sister-in-law is like, oh, we don't have any fish. Here's some seaweed. And she's lying. So Koua is upset and she gets a little dramatic here, because when she's upset about this, instead of just talking to her brother about it, she turns her husband and her children into rats, and she turns herself into a spring of water. And her spirit comes to her brother to tell him about it. So he visits his family in the uplands where like the garden and stuff is. He recognizes this spot that she has told him about. He jumps into the spring, which, reminder, the spring is his sister. So he jumps into his sister and transforms into the lehua tree, which we see today. So that's how this spring and tree on the island were made. Okay. Kumauna is Ku of the mountain. This is a different story. He's one of the forest gods that is banished by Pele for refusing to destroy Lohiau. And he is said to have lived as a banana planter in the valley above Heelia. Um, and so he pisses off Pele and is overwhelmed by her fire. Today, there's a huge boulder of lava which retains his shape in the bed of the valley and is worshipped as a rain god. As late as 1914, a keeper escorted visitors to the sacred valley to see that the god was properly respected and his influence upon the weather restrained within bounds for the benefit of the district. So this is the legend. A tall foreigner comes from Kahiki and cultivates bananas of the Iholena variety in a marshy spot of the valley. Pele comes to him in the shape of an old woman and he refuses to share his bananas with her. First she sends cold. Then, as he sits doubled up with his hands pressed against his face to try to keep warm, she overwhelms him with a stream of molten lava. In this shape, he is to be seen today encrusted in lava. So, don't piss off Pele.
Moana already did.
Right. Oh, this is kind of a funny one because it involves the downfall of a man, and I like those. So, sick people in Hawaii are sometimes brought to a cave near the place where Kumauna is, and they're left there overnight for healing. In case of a drought, an opelu fish is brought from the sea and struck against the rock in order to call the rain god's attentions to the needs of his worshippers. If you can't find that kind of fish, a rare plant growing in the vicinity, which has leaves mottled like the sides of the opelu, may be used as a substitute. But this all has to be done with, like, reverence. You have to be quiet, respectful, and, like, basically asking in a polite way. Otherwise, a violent rainstorm will come and wipe you out, basically. But then, there's this story of Johnny Searle. He was a foreigner in the land of Hawaii, in the year 1896, thereabouts. He was the manager of the Hi'ilie sugar plantation. And there was a drought. And one evening, he's riding down the valley with a party of native Hawaiian goat hunters. And he raises his gun and shoots at the Kumauna boulder, exclaiming, "There, Kumauna, show your power." The shot breaks off a piece of the elbow of this, which he then takes home and throws into the fire while his native Hawaiian companions are running away. They're like, "Oh no, we don't want any of this smoke.
I don't want any of this, thank you."
Right? So then that night, a huge cloudburst rushes down the valley and it says flung great stones all over the backyard of the plantation house, where they may be seen today as proof of Kumauna's power. So I don't know if it was like a hurricane that picked up stones from elsewhere and dropped them on his property or what happened, but in some way, shape, or form, that happened. I have like a couple more, but I almost feel like I could save them for a separate episode. So I'm going to go ahead and pause on mine and let you see how long yours is. And then if we have extra time at the end, I have a few more stories I could share.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about Lono. So who is Lono? So Lono is the Hawaiian god of agriculture and rain. He appears in Ho'oilo, the wet season, as rain clouds and winter storms. Let's see here. A lot of people get like really upset when it rains. Even in Charleston, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's raining." But the people of Hawaii really believe that rain is sacred and it's a valuable resource. So, um, it's one of Hawaii's most valuable resources. As an island surrounded by the ocean, it's very valuable. So, they use Lono as a way to teach everybody and those from Hawaii and those growing up in Hawaii that rain is actually a very good thing and that it is it's welcomed even on those days that your plans get rained out. So um some Poe Kahiko, which are the Hawaiians of old, describe Lono as the Akua po Huna I Ke Aolua, or the god whose head is hidden in the dark clouds. The water he brings, especially to the dry leeward regions, helps keep the land fertile. Legend has it that Lono is responsible for bringing cultivated plants to Hawaii. Um, this solidifies his important role in agriculture. So Lono also is associated with the Makahiki celebration. This celebration is the time of peace and recreation. It's a time to celebrate the hard work of farming and enjoy the fruits of one's labor. So it's basically like I don't want to say Thanksgiving, but it's like it's Mabon, I think, in the pagan wheel of the year. Um, the end of the harvest is what it is. And it is basically a time when you don't do anything. You don't work. You just celebrate. Lono is actually related to the fire goddess. He is ugh, sorry, I'm over here drinking like a protein shake and it's like making me hiccup, which, okay, side note, Will told me the other day, he goes, if you ever get any hiccups, especially like whenever, and I always seem to get hiccups on the podcast, he goes, just sit there and say, I don't believe in you hiccups, and apparently the hiccups go away, and he goes, and every single time I've done it, it works. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, you over here, Mr. I need science to believe in everything. He's believing in some fucking witchcraft.
I've always just tell myself you're not a fish because I was told that hiccups are like an leftover from evolutionary shit or something, and that's probably totally made up. But anyway, so if you tell yourself that you're not a fish,
That's like saying I don't believe in you. Hiccups
yeah, it's
are
basically the
not
same
real.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of Lono's manifestations, the Lono Makua, is in the Pele family. He is a Makua Kane Hananuana, or uncle of Pele. He holds the important kuleana of guarding the sacred flame of the clan, the fire clan. So not only is he important to life itself, he is also the uncle of Pele. So many people believe that there are different plants and animals are the different forms of Lono. The different forms of him include the uaala, or the sweet potato, the ipu, or the gourd plant, the the kukui, the candlenut tree, the amau, or fern, the hapuu, the tree fern, the maya hinupua. It's a type of banana. There are parts of the kalo plant are used ceremoniously to represent Lono, specifically the taro leaves and the cup-shaped leaf of the Ipua Lono variety of kalo. There are some natural phenomena that are representations of Lono as well, such as dark cluster, like dark clouds in the sky, thunder, partial rainbows, whirlwinds, and water spouts. So if you are, I would say if you're anywhere near Hawaii or anywhere near the locations that have this belief in Lono, I would say if you see any of these specific um symbols, I would say Lono is with you. But I would also say you could be far away from Hawaii and see these symbols and be like, "Oh, Lono is with me." Um, Specifically because every time we have a fucking hurricane, there's always several water spouts. um, the the Kamapua is another symbol of Lono. I don't know what that is. I forgot to look that up, so give me a second to look that up real quick. The Kamapua is nope. Thank you so much, Google, for changing that. Is a hogman.
Oh. Right.
That's wonderful. It's a hogman. Fertility superhuman.
Love that.
Great. It's the Hawaiian pig god, is what it is. An all-black pig is also known as a symbol of Lono. The dark rain clouds sitting on top of a mountain are sometimes called pig clouds. So, let's see. The pig is probably one of the most important in traditional Hawaiian religious ceremonies. So, the pig's body, or certain parts of it serve as a fitting sacrifice. So when a pig cannot be obtained or other things are used in its place, like certain plants, certain fish can sometimes take the place of the pig as the sacrifice. So other forms of Lono specifically are taken as like instead of the pig, they take the form like the the plant forms of the pig and the ocean forms of the pig um to do these, I guess, sacrifice. Um and I wish they would actually have given us, like, in this thing that I have here, they literally only gave me like the scientific names for these freaking
Oh.
uh animals and plants, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So the kukui tree could be used as part of the sacrifice. The what else is it called? The young leaf of the kalo plant could be used as the sacrifice. The tree fern is used. The what is that thing called? The man fern, Cybodium, because feral pigs eat it. So you can use the man fern is what it's called. Mature shrubs or tree plants can be used for it. Let's see, what else? It's a species of flowering plant in the mallow family. But it's called the Waltheria indica. Um I don't know exactly, I guess, what Waltheria? I guess is what it's called. Um, or this, excuse me, or a species of grass that is native to the tropical and warm temperate regions. It's called the Digitaria puriens. The common name is Digitaria settigera. I always get the freaking weird ass names I can't pronounce. Oh, okay. Anyways, on to the next greatest freaking words. The fish. Okay, so the another fish you could do, or other fish you could use for your sacrifice, are the lagoon triggerfish. You can also do the Kulia sandvicinus.
Okay.
It's a reticulated flagtail. It's like a zebra head type, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. Damn it, Brady. You could do the flathead gray mullet as your fish of choice. Oh god. You could do the Perupennius porphyrius.
How's
It's
that
a
going?
white saddle goatfish. What the fuck? Man, let me tell you, my cheeks are hurting from laughing so hard. Okay. Anyways, you can also do the yellowfin tang. Why would you do that? These poor fish. As I eat fish for fun. Whatever the fuck that fish is, I don't know. What was the fish that Nemo? Not Nemo. That what was the fish that Lilo would like feed peanut butter fish to?
I don't know. Pudge. His name was Pudge.
Pudge the fish? I don't know. Anyways, surgeon fish is what it is.
Pudge is a porcupine pufferfish.
Okay. Damn. I was wondering if he would be on this list or not. But anyways, that weird ass long ass name that I can never fucking pronounce, it's like sturgeon fish. It's like a type of reef fish.
Okay.
Anyways, but the abundant and varietied type of symbols of Lono basically show us that his importance in daily life is everywhere. And so it shows us that there is importance in everything, including farmers. So Lono's role is obviously quite the important one, especially because he is the god of agriculture. So Kanaka, our humans, appeal to Lono for rainfall and good crops and to give thanks to Lono for the good harvest. They would conduct ceremonies for Lono in the agricultural hay something or another. Hi, to me it looks like luau, but I'm very incorrect. And nobody online can tell me what the fuck it is, but heiau, I guess, is how it should be pronounced. I think, but it's a temple. It's a Hawaiian temple, is what it is. But um they would be more on like the leeward side of these islands where the rainfall is less frequent than on the windward side, obviously, because drought was more prevalent over there. But they would do these prayers for the rain. And it would, I'm not saying the Hawaiian version of it. I'll say the English, but it says break through Lono, break through above, break through below, on the uplands, on the seashores. They would sing this when they needed rain, or when they were just um you know, like giving thanks to him for the abundance of their crops that they got this harvest, all of that. Um and so these people that would do the ceremonies in these temples were prolific farmers. They had actually developed agricultural systems that were self-sufficient and sustainable for the island and for the location. Their innovation had, like, when you coupled it with help from the Akua, and the Akua is, sorry, I forgot what this was. I looked it up and then I completely forgot what it was. I apologize. Oh, God. It's called God. Why would they use Akua? What did you use God for?
Cool.
Ku? Oh. Akua is what my resource calls them. But mine's written from like a Hawaiian person. I don't know. But Akua, or Ku, the god. So if you coupled with their innovations with their prayers to the gods, it would lead to a plentiful harvest year after year. So Lono was obviously very important to the agriculture. So when a young boy was ready to take on the role and responsibility of a man, he was thrust into the men's house. He was ceremoniously dedicated to Lono. This marked the boy as a farmer, as someone who works together with Lono and other like others to create like good abundance for like the I guess, I don't want to, for the village. But they actually did a lot of their farming and fishing practices following like a very sophisticated calendar system. So they based it on the phases of the moon. So they had like a Hawaiian moon calendar type of thing that they would follow, and that's kind of how they would know when to do their, I guess, fishing and harvesting and all of that, which in a way is what most farmers do, but based on their climate at like for ancient times. For that, I mean, that's pretty significant for them for being landlocked, you know. Let's see. So the celebration that Hawaiians would have at the end of a long growing season and when the crops are completed is called the Makahiki. It marks the time of the year when the god Lono returns to Hawaii from Kahiki. It coincides with the Ho'olio, which begins in October or November. The Makahiki lasts for roughly 4 months. This season is a time for rest and rejuvenation. The tribute would be given to the people There would be no wars, and games and sports were the main pastime. So it's just leisure. It's just fun and games. And there was a description found in the Fornander collection of Hawaiian antiquities and folklore. It described the season as, and the deity had decreed his law that man was prohibited not to kill, war was prohibited, and no fighting. The ocean was prohibited, not a canoe was to sail. The kapa block was prohibited, and no clock was to be beaten. The drum was prohibited to be beaten. The horn was prohibited to be blown. The land was prohibited to be loosened. The heaven was sacred to Lono. The thunder was sacred to Lono. The earth was sacred to Lono. Life was sacred to Lono. The hills were sacred to Lono. The mountains were sacred to Lono. The ocean was sacred to Lono. The raging surf was sacred to Lono. The family was sacred to Lono. The sailing canoe was sacred to Lono. Thus the deity enumerated his laws, which the chiefs and the priests and all of the people duly observed. So during these 4 months, nobody was to do anything but enjoy the time and the work that they have done. For this was the celebration that they gave to their god Lono. Let's see. So they also used stars too to kind of do like the moon calendar part. They would there would be like a specific star cluster in the sky, and when that star cluster, or at least the signs of that star cluster, arrived, it was that showed that like it was the arrival of wet season, and it was the start of the Makahiki celebration. So it kind of showed everybody that this was the time that nothing was done. So Lono today, Hawaii continues to be a place that needs rainwater to sustain the land and produce crops. Learning about Lono helps us to understand that Hawaii's unique weather patterns and seasonal changes. With this understanding, we can be self-sustainable like our people before. So that's actually, I mean, it's pretty cool to like be able to like see what how people used deities to incorporate like their life, instead of just like, my god said this, I must kill my firstborn son. My god wants me to play for the next 4 months because I worked hard for the harvest. We are going to celebrate him and the oceans and everything. It's like allowing everything to repopulate. Like it's just,
yeah,
it's kind of cool to see like a different, I don't know, culture celebrate their, like how they, I don't know. It's fascinating.
No, it definitely is.
So that's Lono, god of agriculture and rain and thunder and winter storms and all of that. And their winter storms are not winter storms. It's the wet season.
Right.
Is what it is. But
all right.
So next time you get upset about the rain ruining your thing,
Plans.
just remember it's helping the crops. Okay? Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, until next time.
Bye.